Hey guys, it's April. Today is day 4 of the Design Space files, Christmas in July, and we are going to be making some really cute little ornaments. They are all paper, so I just wanted to cover a couple of things that I did. Now you can be creative and use your own ideas. As you can see here on the screen, I have the poinsettia and it's set in red and green. This is set as a print and cut, your little stamp. These are cut paper. And then you have your envelope. Now, what I did is I went in and I purchased, and I will leave a link below, some digital paper. And then I uploaded it by going to upload and clicking on pattern fill. So once you upload your pattern, you're not going to see it do anything. As a matter of fact, we'll just go ahead and do one really quick. Let me grab what I got here and open it up. There we go. Here are some of the digital papers that I purchased, and this is what I used. I don't think I loaded this one, so I'm just going to drag and drop this one right in. So now you have, I'm just going to close this. Now it shows what I have here, and it shows what it looks like. We're going to go in and we are going to select Christmas because it is a Christmas theme. We're going to select our style, which is vintage. And then I'm just going to select multicolor and maybe brown and off-white. So, or whatever colors you might use. It has some red and green in there, but multicolor should cover that. So then I'm going to click Save. You're not going to see it do anything. It's just going to sit there and kind of look like it does right now. And then it's going to bring you right back to the upload screen. You should get a blue bar across the top, and it does take a couple of minutes, guys, because these are PNGs, and PNGs are quite large files. And you can see pattern upload was successful. So now I'm just going to hit cancel, and I'm going to come over here to my envelope, and I don't even have to detach my score lines or anything. I'm just going to come over here into the layers panel, and right here at the bottom, this weld result, I'm going to select it. I'm going to come up here to no fill and go to print. Okay, then I'm going to go back and click on the color, and I'm going to change the color to pattern. And then you can see where I've uploaded several right here. I'm going to select this one, and that little set of patterns that you saw, they were $1.79, and you get 14 patterns in there, so it's really good, really nice set. So you can see here that it doesn't look quite right, so I'm going to click on Edit Pattern, and then we're just going to adjust the scale. And it could take a few minutes for it to react. We're going to let it react, and I want some of that color up in there. So the color, I believe on the pattern, let me just double check that pattern, is down on that bottom left corner. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to select it, just that piece over in the layers panel. Because I didn't detach anything, I'm going to click Edit Pattern. And I am going to raise this up vertically. And I'm just going to say 100. Let's see. Oops, that's 1200. Well, that's good. And you can see that it put the Christmas in there. So, I mean, you're going to play with it. And you can move it at like 100 at a time until you get it like you want. And that, to me, looks pretty good. I might move it over 20 horizontally just to get rid of this little line. Nope, let's go -20. You see, it went the wrong way. And I'm going to enter that. And maybe make that -25. And you can see it's just got just a little bit. I just wanted a little bit of edge to edge. And now it looks like I want it to look. So I'm going to close that out. And now you can see that that's the way this is going to print. Now we're all ready. You can save it. And again, I'm not going to save this because it will have, that's an upload and you can't share anything uploaded, and then you guys wouldn't be able to use it. So all of the ornaments that we're doing tonight have a print and cut, and this is exactly what I did. And you're going to do it with each and every piece that you want to do print and cut on. So if you want to do that front piece of that scroll right there, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to come in and change it to no fill, go to print, select the color, select the pattern, pick your pattern, and then you're going to edit that pattern till you get it to look the way that you want. And a little hint, if you pull this down below there, when you're looking on that pattern or edit pattern, you can see it here as well as here. So you know, you might want to move this one maybe, I don't know, -100. You can play around with it and see. You might want to stretch it just a little bit, get that tiling out of there. Just different things that you can do with it. So go in and play with it, have fun, and let's just go over and make them. Again, all the pieces that you see me working with tonight, if they're printed with this music paper, that's exactly how I did them. So let's go to the overhead. Okay guys, here we go. And this is the envelope one that you just saw me do. And we have our little hanging ornament. Right here we have our little hanger on it. And you can look at the back. The back is going to look a little different, but that's okay. You're going to hang it on the tree just like this, or either use this for a tag for a gift. Several things that you can do with these. I did use this music sheet paper here that looks like gold on there. I got from Design Bundles. Just go and look up vintage music sheets, Christmas music sheets, and they have pages of them. You'll find these. They're the gold, and they have the ones with just overlay so that you can print just on whatever papers that you want. So this one is for all of my Patreons monthly and Ko-fi monthly supporters. This one is the little top hat. I think this is just adorable, and I did do both discs. I did 2 discs in there, and I did print on both of them and just flip them so that it's completely covered. There's no white cardstock showing anywhere on this one. And again, this makes a super cute tag or an ornament, guys. And we've got a little bit of 3D effect. I don't know if you can see that going on there. I cut that from some of my Mind's Eye Swiss dot paper. So really cute. And that's going to be for my monthly Patreon and Ko-fi supporters. And if you choose to do one-time support on Ko-fi, you have to do it before midnight tonight, and then you will get this file. If you want all the files, you have to be a monthly supporter, and the default on Ko-fi is one-time support, so just make sure you change that. If you wait until tomorrow to become a member, in order to get these files, you will have to be a monthly because it's not retroactive. One-time support does that day and 30 days after. So, and then this is our free file, and this one is going to be for everybody. This will be on the free tab over on craftingwithapril.co. And again, I just played around. This is all the same sheet of music, vintage music, and I just made this one big with the bells on top, but you can't see them because I covered and experimented here, but you'll see it when we go to put it together. So let's go ahead and start with, I don't know, you're going to need some dimensional dots and a bone folder, maybe some tweezers. Now you're going to see me punch my hole for this in the envelope. I have already put a hole in that for you guys. I forgot to do it for mine, and I had already cut them. And then I have my flower pad. Don't pay attention to my melted area. My glue gun accidentally melted it. I'm using some Nuvo drops, and I'm using them in honey gold and ruby slippers. You can use Ranger dots or glitter. You can use glitter glue, anything like that. I'm using some brown twine. I'm going to be using, now you don't need these for all the projects, but this is all the stuff I use to make all 3. I have some 1/4 inch red ribbon. that I used on the hat. There is a red strip of paper in that file so that you can use paper instead if you don't want to use a ribbon. I thought the ribbon looked better because I didn't want to cover too much of the music. I have my art glitter glue, so you're going to need some adhesive for that. A couple of bells. I have my flower tools. You can use anything that's rounded, blunt, if you don't have these yet. And I'm using a Copic marker in the color E34 Toast. So you may need that. You don't have to have that, but it just adds a little bit extra. I'm using some gold foil that I had. It was out of some packaging. That's why it's brown on the other side. Just going to use it. And then all of my cardstock that I printed on was Cricut cream colored cardstock. That's what I used. Red Cricut cardstock. And then just a scrap of green for your holly leaves. I cut a couple of extra in case I lost any. And you're going to need a hot glue gun just to put your bells on the top of your box. And I'm going to go ahead and plug mine up so that it can heat up because these projects go really quick. Again, I like to do really quick projects like this and for those last minute things like tags and all of that. So let's go ahead and let's start with the box. That will make it easiest, I think, and get rid of a lot of these pieces. That goes, or I could just sort them out. And you will know which are which. Now, I have some extra pieces. Guys, don't pay attention to that because I did do extra for my mock-ups so that I wouldn't have to print everything at one time. That looks good. Okay, and I am using also a tube, and you'll see why. It's not part of the project, but it is. It does aid in making the project. And it's just one of my Cricut vinyl rolls. Any of them will do. If you have a toilet paper roll, anything like that, it will work. So let's set that to the side. We're going to start with the little box, and you're just going to fold. This is a box that is in Cricut. Again, I do use Cricut Access images, guys. So if you're a member and you come in and you say, hey, it's wanting to charge me, I have no control over what it's charging you. If you do not have access, and I have used an Access image, if you have access, it's not going to charge you. If you don't, it's going to ask you to pay for that image. Or you can replace it and find an image that's similar that you own, or upload an image that you like to replace those images with. Some things like this box, you would have to just rebuild the box from scratch if you don't want to purchase it and you don't have access. But if you have access, it should be free. So once you've folded on all your score lines, and all of them are folded away from you, just super easy and simple, this is your top, okay? We're just going to fold that over. I don't have a piece of white, maybe. I'm just going to fold that over, and we're going to place a little bit of glue. And I just have a piece of scrap paper there, just so it won't. My glue is clogged, of course. There we go. And I'm just staying on this side of the score line, kind of smearing it a little bit. And I'm just going to fold this over. Keep it straight, or straight as possible. I just didn't want any glue to squish to the inside. I did not make this box, so this score is off just a teeny tiny bit, guys. But you can work with it and it'll be fine. Just make sure you keep it square, nice and even. And then you can flatten it out and it'll kind of correct itself. Okay. All right. Then we're going to, and if you want to put something inside this box, you could definitely do that. I just would make sure that they know because you don't want them packing it up. And if you're going to do that, I would say don't glue both of the lid and the bottom shut. It's taking that a little longer to dry than normal. This is the Cricut red. They changed it though because it has a different texture on it. Just gonna stick that right inside. I'll try to. I don't know why my glue isn't sticking over here. Maybe I got too much. Just going to hold it for a second, let it dry. And now I'm going to take a piece of my twine. There it is. I'm just going to cut off a small piece here. And make sure you give yourself a little bit extra on this. This appears to be maybe about 8 inches long. You need a little bit extra because your bells are going to take up part of it. So make sure that you account for that. I'm just going to stick it right through that hole. Okay. And then I just use a piece of Scotch tape, guys. Just a small piece. That's all you need. And I'm just going to tape that down right there on the inside of that lid. Just going to fold this down. Now, if you're not putting anything in here, you can certainly glue that. Just a little bit of glue. And a little bit on that lid. Again, if you're putting something inside and you don't want them to destroy it, and if you're putting any candy or food item in there, because it will hold that, make sure they know so that they don't pack it away. Nobody wants to have a bunch of ants or anything. So super easy and simple. And then you have your tabs or your panels. And this one has a hole in the center. I need to replace my blade. Okay, and this is the top tab. And I just thread it right through. And you could do this if you don't want to put the gold bells on top. No need, you don't have to. If I can pinch that down enough to go through that hole, I know it. There we go. And then I just kind of flip it over and apply my glue. Pay attention to your corners. You don't want those to pop loose. Try not to get any on your twine. And we're just going to pop it down. And you know what? I forgot something. I forgot to do my edges. And I said, don't forget to do the edges. Just going to lift it off for a second. And I'm just going to go right around these edges with my Toast Copic marker to give it that vintage look and get rid of those harsh white lines or the cream colored lines because it's printed. I've got the edges pretty good. Just going to go ahead and stick it down. And then I'll kind of tea stain it up a little bit. There we go. And I like mine to look really vintage, so I kind of just come in here and do the edges or corners and darken them just a teeny tiny bit. It's easier to do before you put it on the box, like this. And I'll just do 2 at a time. Just going to go around those edges just to give it that nicer look. If you don't have a Copic marker that's close to the color of the paper that you printed, you can use an ink pad. And then I just go in here and I kind of just do these differently and just kind of go to the side just to make it look older. even though it's a vintage cardstock. I mean, there's no right and wrong. You can see I got up here in the middle. It will all wash out and blend in later, you'll see. You can do thin lines and thick lines in little places. Can miss places. It's a little more difficult to get this look with an ink pad. Copics are much easier. With an ink pad, it's going to look more like this because you're just getting those edges, okay, than it is with the Copic. And these are alcohol markers, so if you don't want to do Copics, any alcohol marker will work. That looks pretty good. Okay, so that's all there is to that. And this is my front, so I'm going to place this on the front. You can put this on the bottom if you prefer. Totally up to you. I think in the file, no, because I didn't leave it in the file. I just used the bottom piece to make that, and then I changed my mind and decided I wanted it on the front. And then make sure that your words of your music are going the right direction. And place those panels all the way around. And I did make all 4 of mine the same. If you want to make yours different, you can. You can make the top and the bottom the same if you want. I'll get that one off a little bit. I'm going to live with it. Okay. And then, of course, the bottom. And so if they flip it this way, I want it to be on straight and the right way. Yeah. Super easy, super simple. And then I'm just going to take some more of my twine. And this is where the hot glue comes in. I'm just going to get a little bit of hot glue on one end of it. And just going to place that. I don't want to use that. I'm just going to stick it down. Oops, hit my keyboard. Oh, yeah. And then that's just going to hold it while I wrap. And I'm just going to wrap around it. I think I went 3 times. Totally up to you. And then I'm just going to snip that. And then again, I'm just going to stick a little dab of hot glue there on top of that. And while it's still hot, I'm just going to stick this in there. And it's not too hot. I'm just going to hold it down. Stuck to my thumb. Cool. I'm using a low temp, so it's not high temp. Don't need high temp. You can use high temp, but you don't have to. Not for this. And then I'm just going to wrap in the other direction. I have a glue hair. And go 3 times again. I want that out of my way. You may have to hold it up while you wrap. And just going to come over here and snip. I missed. There we go. And then we're going to finish it off with just a drop. And then of course my bells, I'm just going to put a little dab of hot glue on there, and we're going to stick it there. I'm going to bring this up so that it gets sandwiched in. I'm just going to run it through this bell. If I can pinch it enough. Always on camera. There we go. All right. And then I'm just going to, as I hold that, I'm going to place a little hot glue right in there. And then we're going to squish those two bells together and hold them for a second, just till they cool. Now I did put some of the glitter on there. I was trying to make it look like some snow, and I really don't like the way that it came out, so I'm not going to do it on this one. I really like this nice, simple, clean look much better. Again, pretty cute for a tag. You can put their name on it, have it write their name on there after you do your print and cut, or you can use that for an ornament. So there's the freebie, and that's available for everyone. And next, let's go ahead and do our top hat. And like I said, I have some extra pieces because I cut extras. You have two of the small scallops, two of the large scallops, one of the small, but if you want to, you can. I didn't see a need because nothing showed, and I just didn't want that to be a solid white disc on the bottom. It wouldn't be as pretty. So I really only needed one. And then you have this piece. So on this one, you don't want to bend, even though there's a score right there, you don't want to bend that. That is just a guideline. And I'm just going to take my bone folder. You can use a ruler, use whatever you have, and I'm just going to help get some curl into my cardstock, okay? And I'm just going to place a little bit of glue right here. We're just going to bend that around and glue it. Didn't come far enough. You're just going to leave yourself like a little V here like you have on the wrist. It's just a guideline. And just make your little cylinder. We're going to let that dry for a second before we start messing with it. And then I have two of these, and I'm going to place glue all the way around, a little bit in the middle. And then I wanted mine to meet up basically like they were mirrored. Make sure you get them good and even. Just like so. Okay. I did not do my line here with my Copic marker because I did not want that seam to stand out any more than it already does. But after I glued these together, I did take my Copic and go along the edges and color that. I should have probably done them before I put them together. That way if they're off slightly, you don't have to go both directions with it, but it's okay. And it's okay if you get off into here again. You can kind of distress it by coming around on these points. You don't have to do it on all of them, but give it a little distressed look. It'll be fine. I probably use this color more than any other color of my Copics. Probably going to need a refill or a new pen one. New marker. So just keep doing all of your edges. If you want to do a little bit of distressing, you can go in there and do that. And do it on this disc too. I think that's what it is. I think I'm almost out of ink in this. Go all the way around. And this is the last piece you have to do this on. I'm just going to get some distressing going on the edge because this does show. There we go. Alright, now this should be dry enough, and we're just going to fold our tabs over. You don't have to bend them really hard, just kind of fold them over just to get them going. Okay, and I'm just going to put that just like that, and then I'm going to place this inside, and then take your tube, and it's going to be a snug fit, and this is just going to help press it down and get you that good flat feel. It's going to get it in there, and then we're just going to go under here with some glue on each of these tabs. Just going to lift them up and go in there under each one. And then I'm just going to flip it back over. And you may have some glue squish out, that's fine. But that gives it a good flat area, okay? And then right here where my Jolly Old Saint Nick is, it depends on your music, I line that up with my little Santa. Take that off of there real quick so that you guys can see. Oops, I almost messed up. Before you glue this on, you're going to want to do your hanger. Much easier if you don't have glue on there, guys. But it's okay, you can do this. You can tape it, and since I've already got glue on there, I'm just going to glue mine. It's going to be a booger because I got glue on there. There we go. And since that's uneven, I'm just going to snip it off. Don't you go back in there. It's trying. There we go. Just going to flip it like that. It'll be fine without glue. It's not going to be heavy. And then we're just going to place it on the top. Center it up. And I'm going to put it back down, and I'm going to use my little tube again. And that's going to give me a good flat surface, and it's going to glue, and it's going to stick well because I've got some way to get some leverage on it. Okay, if you don't have your tube, you can use your glue bottle. Just get it pressed in really, really, really good. Okay, flip it over, fold these tabs, and I'm not folding them up. I want them to have some resistance. I'm just kind of folding them over so that they're at an angle. You can see that. And we're going to put glue on the top of each one of those. Now, if you want to put a bell in here, just so it jingles for them, you could do that. I did not. I wanted it to be as vintage as possible. And then I'm going to line this up right in the center. And we're going to squish that down. Just like that. Super simple, super easy. Then I'm going to take a ribbon. I believe it's 5.25 inches long. I'm going to cut mine a little bit extra because I didn't measure it out. And for this, I just kind of used a glue dot. You can use glue, you can use, this is the permanent, and they're large. I really don't need a large, I just need part of this. You can see how tacky these are. There we go. And I you can see I got it stretched. I'm just going to cut that. And I'm just going to place my ribbon and pick that up. And then I'm going to find the seam right here. And is that the front? Yep. That's the other side. Yep. There we go. Let's see. Where is my holly leaf going to go? Right there. You want to start that where your holly leaf might be going. And give it time to dry, guys. I can feel mine sliding a little bit. That's okay. And I'm just going to wrap this around, right around the base, and figure out where I need to cut it. I need to sharpen my scissors. And then I'm going to come over here and get the rest of my glue dot on this piece here. And just walk it right around the base. And stick it. And it's okay if part of that glue dot shows because we're going to cover it up with our holly leaves. Okay, and I started with the large one. And if you got part of your glue dot showing, you can stick this large one in there. How do I want that to go? I think I want to go just like that. I'm just going to stick it right on there. And then take the other side. Just kind of put a little dot of glue. Okay. And then you're going to take the medium one. And this medium one I bent. Okay. Because I wanted to give it like a 3D effect. So I just kind of put a little curl in it. Just a little tail. Okay. And then I placed a dot of glue. And then I placed that one. Use your tweezers just to press on it. And then I got the little teeny tiny guy. Little bitty one. And it goes this way. Or that's the way that I want it. And I put the dot of glue right there on the rim. And I laid that right up in there. Just like that. That way you get that little 3D effect. And then I finished it off with a couple of Nuvo drops. So I'm just going to do like one big berry right there. And then one right here off to the side. And one right here. And then they will dry clear, like so. That one I messed up, and don't pay attention to that. But it will dry kind of glittery clear and darker. So nice and pretty. And that's ornament number 2. How cute is that? Super cute. I'm going to set these off to the side, and we're going to start with our third one. And again, you're going to want to take your Copic and catch your edges. And if you have an ink pad, you might want to ink up the back of yours. I didn't do it with this one. Ink up the back of your embellishments so that let me get some ink going on these corners here. I like to do the front when I get it put together. So I know where it's going to fall. I'll just go ahead and do these edges up. And that's going to help define it a little bit too. There we go. Good enough. My stamp, I'm going to go in and do it as well. Now the stamp can take a little bit of time, but you want to go in. I did not do it on my other one. I forgot it. And it shows because I probably need to calibrate my print and cut. And I just use the same color, but if you want to use red that's close to your red here for this, you can do that as well. Just want to get those edges so that it's nice and pretty once you have it together. And again, this is for all of the Patreon and Ko-fi supporters. These are Design Space images. I did kind of change the envelope a little bit. And I'm just going to give this some more dimension back here, since this shows a little bit. Just like so. And you want to also do your flower petal edges before you do anything else to them. And I'm just doing the outer edges. I'm not going all the way in because you won't see all of these on these bottom layers. And it is worth the extra time. I forgot to do it on that one before I put it together, and you'll see the difference once we get this one together. Got that piece done. Let's do this one. These are the ones that's really going to define it on. And day 5 is coming up on Saturday, and we will be doing boxes. Not sure what kind of boxes. Probably do a couple of candy boxes and a gift box. I may do an ornament, candy, and a gift box. I already have a couple of ornament boxes out there for you guys. For the 4-inch disc and the little bitty teeny tiny ones and the rounds. But we may come up with something. On these are the ones that are going to show you want to do this whole piece. It's just that bottom one, the dark one, or the green one if you cut colors. You're not going to see all of it, just the outer edges. And on the, now this piece, you can also, I left it blank. If you don't want to do your music on this, you could put names on it. for Santa's nice or naughty list and have it your Cricut write the names on there. That will be cute. And one more piece. This probably takes longer than putting this together. Okay, so now we have all of the pieces done. Oops, I told a story. I have 2 more pieces. I thought it looked a little shy. Let's go through and get those. Yep, I have got to get another one of these markers. My ink is running really low. The other side's near dry. It's just hard to get in here with an ink pad on little pieces like this. One more. There we go. You need all the pieces of your flower. There we go. Now we're done. So, I'll set that to the side. And we're going to grab our flower pad and our flower tools, okay? And doesn't matter which one we start with. This is the small one. You're just going to flip it face down and you're going to give some pressure. If you don't have this foam pad, you can do this on a mouse pad. You may not get as much definition, but you can do it. So we're just making sure that we curl all these petals and go across. That way they're cupping and it's making a nice little dome, okay? Do the same thing with these bigger ones. You may need a bigger tool. You can use the end of a paintbrush. I've used those before. Just anything that has something where you can round and it will move. I have before done it this way. It takes a little longer, but you can use some of your Cricut tools. The ones that have the caps on them, they won't slide, so they don't work as well. So you want something that's going to move, and the ones on with the metal on the end will. It takes a little longer. It's a little harder to do than these. I get these on Amazon. You can look in the fondant tools or the clay tools. They have them in there too. But you're just going to do this with all of your flower pieces. Super quick and easy. You want to give it a good amount of pressure. It takes a little practice. You can get there. It's pretty easy to do. Okay. And if you want more definition than what this has, you can put pop dots in between. But I thought it was quite... had enough dimension to it without doing pop dots this time. Totally whatever look you want. So a little dot of glue in the center, and this is the dark 5 petal, and you're going to take the one that's the same size really. You want to alternate your petals, okay? So where you have an opening, that's where your other petal's going to go. Then you're going to get one of the larger 3-piece. Put another dot of glue right in the center and just place it in there. It's going to go in between on 1 or 2 of them, like here, but not, it's going to be on top of the other. Don't worry about that. It's going to work out. Do another dot. Take the other one that's almost just like that. Doesn't matter which one you get, and just kind of offset it from that one. Don't worry about the petals behind those. Just work with these to 3 pieces. You've got 1, 1, 1, and then these are running between those. Then you're going to do another dot of glue, and you're going to get the one that has the 4 petals. And I just lay it where it wants to land, just so it goes between 1 or 2 of them. And then you have 2 more pieces, and one's smaller than the other. Both of them have 3 petals, and again, you're just going to kind of open it up and go in between some of the other petals. I want to turn that one this way. So I'm going in between here. Just look at it, you'll see which way you like it before you put your glue on there and then glue. I've done so many of these that this is one of my favorite flowers. So I kind of know where I'm going with it. And so it's going to be domed just like that. Okay, give it a second to dry, and then what I like to do is take my smaller tool, you can use whatever you have, and just give it a push down, and that's going to push all that glue, and then it's going to give it, pop it back out the other way. Okay, and then we're going to stick a foam dot right on the back, and it's going to push it that way. It's okay. We're just going to go right back in. Take any one of your tools that you have, and that's going to put the foam dot on there and give it that indent. Okay. Going to take this piece and you're going to glue it on. Now the gold piece that I have, it does put a cut line in there, and that's to help you line this up in the correct position so that you're not too far off. Just stick it on. Oops. Try not to get glue on that gold because it's going to dry matte and clear. But that part will be hidden anyway. We're going to set that to the side. Then we're going to take our old postage stamp, and I'm going to get 2 more foam dots or dimensionals. I get these at Stampin' Up, at Close to My Heart, at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, and I'm using 2. Okay, so I'm stuck one and I peeled it off, and now I'm going to stick this other one right on top of it and leave that for now. Don't need that. And then this piece, even though there's a score up here, don't fold that. You want to fold on this score and on this score right here. And normally I would use a bone folder and press these, but I don't want to do this on this one because I want that resistance. I want it to puff out. And then you're going to fold this on that score line. Just like so. Just like you would an envelope, except you're not going to fold the top flap. You're going to fold these 2 in, and you see how they're springing back out? That's what we want. We want that little bit of a 3D puffed effect, okay? And we're just going to run some glue, and I like to run it on both sides for this. It's just me. And just going to press it down and let it pop back up. That way if any glue smushes out down there, it's okay. It's not going to hurt anything because we're not going to be using everything down in there anyway. Now you're just going to put some on this gold square right here, and we're just going to tuck it right here. And that's just to give us some fill right in here where we have the gaps. And I do want to add a tiny bit more staining to mine on this inside. This thing is near dry. And you don't have to cover your edges as much as I'm doing mine. I just like that. Now, like I said, I have already done this step for you. I'm just going to pierce a hole for my hanger. Yours already has a hole in it. And we're going to take our twine and I'm going to cut another little piece. And from the back, I'm just going to thread that in. Still didn't get that hole quite big enough. I'm not going to fight it. I'm just going to use my chomper and punch a hole. Now it will go. There we go. I'm putting it in the wrong way. Put it in from the front. There we go. Just pull that up and get a small piece of Scotch tape. Really all we need. And I'm just going to pull this over to this side where the flower is going to be and tape it down. Right there. Then we're going to take our flower. I'm going to peel that dimensional. But first, before I do that, I'm just going to lay it up here and figure out how I want to position it. And I kind of like my petal going over the top right there. I think maybe like that. So decide how you want yours. And then we're just going to peel this off. And I'm going to come in here. And you can see I'm just hiding the twine. Okay, so we have our flower on there. We got a little bit of gold sticking out. And I forgot my dimensional on the back of this, didn't I? Just going to pop one down on there. And peel that off. And then I'm just going to work it kind of under there. Under that flower. But sticking up also. Just like that. So it kind of becomes part of the flower. And then we're going to do our postage stamp. And this one can be a little bit tricky. So you want to make sure if you want to weave it into your flower petals, you can lift those petals up and do that. I kind of like it right there. Just a little bit of the gold showing through here. I like that. Just kind of squeeze it so I can get it in there without it sticking. And then just mash it down. How cute is that? That's all there is to that, guys. That's absolutely it. These are going to be cute. Make several of them. Hang them on your trees. Make tags. Super, super cute. Super simple. Vintage. You can even do your flowers in the red and green. Easy to do. And change the look completely. And then I did put 3 dots of the Honey Gold Nouveau drops right in the center of that flower. And then it will dry and you see the effect that you get there. Okay. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and these tutorials. The files are available on craftingwithapril.co on the Christmas 2020 tab for all of you supporters. If you're a one-time Ko-fi supporter and you're getting just this today, you will find that in the post on Ko-fi. And if you are looking for the free file, it is on the freebie tab. And again, if you are a supporter, all three of those files are going to be on that one tab for you guys, so you don't have to run around getting all three of them in different places. You guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you on day 5 for boxes.